Hi guys, Brandon here, and let's sit down for a minute and have a little bit of a different kind of video, because this one is not going to be focused on characters, perks, map design, balance, whatever. This video is going to be talking as constructively as I can about very common community accusations that are made. Now, we're not going to be referencing anybody in particular in this because, quite frankly, it is a community problem with both of the issues that we're going to be talking about today and how they are tied together. So even though it may be brought into recent memory by someone, it is not going to be a video directed at anybody in particular, but just kind of like this sentiment and mentality, not only among DVD players, but especially DVD content creators. So yeah, let's go ahead and talk about it. So for as long as I can remember, there has always kind of been this issue in the Dead by Daylight community of unfounded skepticism and kind of this like witch hunt mentality. Mostly it comes down to Swift accusations, and obviously most recently we have seen deranking accusations. The Swift accusation obviously should be way more straightforward, is that whenever I am severely beaten while playing on killer, the first go-to response is that clearly the team that I was facing must have been a 4-man Swift on comms. Most killers don't even go the step of differentiating a 4-man and a 4-man on comms, because 4-man on comms is way stronger than just a 4-man. But either way, the accusation is like, oh, well, they were teaming. They were all grouped together, and that was the only reason that they were able to beat me. The second one of these, the second thing that gets the accusation that gets thrown around a lot is that, especially with content creators, that there's deranking happening off stream. Whenever you see somebody who beats you or is like way more skilled than you in a match, it's clearly because they were in a higher MMR in terms of skill-based matchmaking, and over time they were able to off stream or whatever in their own time, either way, derank, and after deranking they're going to get an easier player, which is you, and then they use that to bully you, and especially when it comes to the content creator conversation, use that to make content out of you, because now their matches are easier because they spent the time lowering their MMR on purpose. Now, the question first I want to cover is like, why are these accusations thrown out, and why do they exist? First and foremost, the reason that people do that is because it's an excuse for why you lost. It lessens the blow of a loss if it's attributed to something that is out of your control, something like 4-man Swift on comms being OP, or it was just a higher skill player that clearly does not belong in this bracket and has just like deranked themselves to be in my bracket, even though they don't belong here. So essentially this is a safe face. This is to lessen the blow to your ego by saying, oh, well, clearly there was something funky going on here. Clearly it was an overwhelming advantage, or clearly it was somebody playing in a rank that they didn't belong to. The problem is that most players do not go out of their way to prove this in any way, shape, or form. I cannot tell you how many streamers I have watched, because I watch a lot of DBD, which I sometimes wish I didn't. I've watched a lot of DBD. I cannot tell you how many streamers have display capture instead of game capture, meaning that I can see when they bring up the Steam overlay or when they don't. And they'll call, oh, it was just a 4-man Swift on comms. Like, oh, they're clearly a Swift guys. And they don't even attempt to check. They don't even attempt to check. Now, if they're crossplay, it's a little bit more difficult. But if they're all on Steam, you can bring up the Steam overlay and like look over and be like, okay, well, they're all friends. They're all online right now. So yeah, they probably are together. That makes sense. But most streamers or any sort of content creator that says this does not really put any effort into proving this at all. They put zero effort into trying to show that this is actually the case. And the same thing goes for the deranking conversation. It's very easy to see a content creator make a video about a Bubba that is very easily spinnable, that you lead on like a 5-gen chase, and to just say, oh, well, clearly they were deranking, because nobody at high MMR would ever make that mistake. But once again, there's not really any effort put into proving this, and I don't know how you would, because skill-based matchmaking, the MMR number that you have is hidden. So unless you're a hacker, you quite literally can't get in and get that number. And it is possible for players with a lot of hours and high MMR to play poorly. Like, people make mistakes, and sometimes on purpose, to either do a challenge or they just felt like chasing instead of pressuring gens that day. Like, there's plenty of reasons somebody could play poorly at high MMR. It's not just, okay, well, you're at high MMR, so ergo you will always be playing super efficiently. sometimes you make bad decisions. Sometimes you make mistakes. But the TLDR of that is that there's no way to prove that people are deranking, much less on a mass-wide scale, and content creators are across the board are taking advantage of it. Just like with the Swift 4-man Swift on comms conversation, there's not really a way to prove that for sure. Now, I will say, addressing the counterpoints, devil's advocate here, are there people that probably do that? Oh, absolutely. There's probably people that derank just so they can get easier games, just so they can make content. Absolutely. Are there people that go into customs and pretend that they're real people to get content? Absolutely. Is it a majority of players? Definitely not. Definitely not. And I think in terms of the content creator conversation, and specific when it comes to both of these things, it has a specific benefit to you as a content creator that it doesn't to the wider DBD community, which is the statement that everybody else is inauthentic and that you are authentic. You are the real deal, and everybody else is fabricating their content. The only reason that other creator who I am in competition with is able to have such amazing and exciting content is because they're deranking off stream. It's because they're constantly in a 4-man Swift. That's the only way they're able to make exciting and good content and be able to actually beat out my content, is because they're cheating behind the scenes. They're deranking. They're always swiffing. That's the only reason they get the results that they do, that draw in the views that make them popular. However, I am truly authentic. I never smurf. I never derank off stream. I never swift up. Like all of my accomplishments are authentic. So that authenticity makes me a better creator, which means you guys should stop watching those guys and watch me, because I'm truthful and honest. That's where it comes from. That's the content creator side of why these accusations are thrown out, is because if you can discredit the other people, you can discredit your competition, then they'll go to you instead. So there's a tangible benefit there to doing that. It's a business move. And I just hate that. I think One Pump Willie put it the best. I was hanging out in One Pump Willie streams one of these days recently, and somebody who was a regular of mine was also watching One Pump and was like, "Oh, hey, are you streaming later today?" And I kind of got really worried. I got a little anxious because I wasn't trying to self-advert. I was just trying to hang out in a homie stream. But I didn't know how to answer that question. I didn't know how to approach that because I didn't want to self-advert in their stream, because they're a tremendous creator doing their best, and I don't want to be like, "Hi, I'm stealing viewers, haha." But Willie handled it really, really well and said something that was really, really smart, and said, "We're all in this together. We're all in this together. We're all trying to make it. You will watch whoever you want to watch. I'm not going to try to police that, stop that. We're all just in this together." And I thought that was a really fantastic outlook on not only that situation, but a community at large, as a streaming community for Dead by Daylight at large. That is excellent advice. I think Otts also had a tremendously good quote when it came to something like this. Otts said, "We're all one community." When it came to, I think the conversation was about changes to DBD, what affects one person versus the other, and that sort of thing. Otts said, "We're all one community. We're not all killers. We're not all survivors. We all play DBD. So the health of not only the game, but our community as a whole, we are all one community. We are all Dead by Daylight players. So everything is important to all of us." The TLDR there, if you've lost it somewhere in there, is that when it comes to accusing a 4-man Swift or accusing of deranking, the reason for a normal DBD community member to do that is because it's an easy thing to blame for loss, which, saves your ego. For content creation in particular, it's a invalidation. It's sullying the reputation of your competition, so you can get an advantage out there when, smarter and nicer creators like Willie and Otts know that we're all in this together. We're all trying to do our best. We're all trying to enjoy the game as a whole community, and that is the right way to look at things. But yeah, that is my take on everything that has been coming out in the DBD community lately about the whole deranking controversy and all that stuff. Man, it's been a wild month or two for the game. I really hope things slow down soon, so things can get a little less controversial, so we can all just vibe and relax for a little bit. But I tried to handle that as constructively as I could. So hopefully I did that. Let me know what you guys think about that whole debacle down in the comments below. But other than that, do it for today's video, friends. But I do upload daily, so I will see you tomorrow. But if I do not, I'll see you when I see you. Goodbye.